Hey everyone, we're going to talk about the plate method and how to build the perfect plate so that you can always just see a plate, know exactly what goes on it, and you don't have to track macros forever. I think it's very important to know macros. We'll get into that. It's also very important to know what a plate looks like so you don't have to track forever and use that as a crutch. So I will make myself small, go through this guide. How to build the perfect plate. Portion control is in the palm of your hand. What a fun pun. The disclaimer says that these are my suggestions, and make sure that you check with your doctor before things. Also, if you're nursing, if you're breastfeeding, and or if you have a history of an eating disorder, macros are going to be different for you. Make sure the eating disorder part, I would just say that we don't do intermittent fasting and that we don't go below 500 calorie deficit from maintenance calories. So if you fill out the macro form in the future, whenever that shows up for you, that'll come in the next week or so, you're just going to be able to click, I'm nursing, I'm breastfeeding, or I do have a history here. And I'll set macros appropriately for that. Just know that is something you would want to talk to your doctor about first too. Hand guide to portion control. Knowing what to eat is only half the battle when it comes to healthy nutrition. You also have to know how much to eat. Over time, food and drink portions have increased in size. The more food we're served on the plate, the more we consume, which leads to overeating. With this awareness and by having a guide to manage portion sizes, we can eat foods in a healthy, balanced way, building a better relationship around what we put in our body. A simple, effective, and proven method is the hand portion method. The idea is that you're not measuring or weighing your food using technology, but rather using your own hand to gauge the size of the portion. Your hands are proportional to your body, and they go where you go. This makes them the perfect tool to quickly and easily gauge your portion size, even when you're eating out. This method is for anyone who struggles with the idea of using food tracking apps and meal logs. It's a perfect way to build any meal with habit-centric approach. To get started, try each step below. Alrighty. What is the base of our meal? It is protein, 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. You just tracked for 4 to 5 days, maybe longer if you got into the app a week early. And you noticed I'm only eating 60 to 80 grams of protein every day, but my goal is 1 gram per pound of goal body weight. How in the world am I going to get there? Well, first things first is to make sure that every meal has protein at it. When we talked about that, our goal is 3 full meals per day, maybe 4. Each of those should have a palm size of protein at it. This is a male portion. This is a female portion. Protein has risen to the forefront as the most important nutrient, not just for muscle building, but for support, transport of nutrients, and an enzyme, and many more. In the Western diet, it's very common for carbs to make up the foundation of a meal. Unfortunately, these carbs are often highly refined and have a high glycemic index, which leaves us hungrier 2 hours later. Carbs that are not as high on the glycemic index, that don't leave us hungrier 2 hours later, are more nutrient-dense things like sweet potatoes and white rice or jasmine rice. And we'll talk about that on the carb page. But just know that most of our meals are built up of like giant plates of mashed potatoes and then some protein. We're going to start now reversing that and working on protein first, and then we can add the carbs. And knowing the importance of carbs that I just talked about, you're going to realize, okay, I can see how these all go together. What are some options of protein? Chicken breast, turkey, this is ground turkey, or any turkey, lean beef. And I would suggest anything leaner than, so 90%, 10%. It's called 90-10. 80-20 is not lean enough. There's a lot of fat in that ground beef. If you're not familiar with that, you can ask the butcher at the grocery store, hey, where's the 90-10 or the 93-7 is even better. Looking for lean beef. Bison is always going to be lean, so ground bison would be a really good option too. Beef jerky, salmon, low-fat dairy yogurt, protein bar, scoop of whey protein or casein protein. 1 cup of cooked protein in a measuring cup equals about 40 to 45 grams of protein. I don't know too many people that are going to scoop their hand in their ground beef that they've meal prepped to see if it fits. What I would do is take 1 measuring cup, and if you want 40 to 45 grams of protein for that meal, 1 measuring cup cooked of any of these things would equal about that. So that is our measuring cup hack. We're going to use it for carbs as well. So stay tuned. Fill half the plate with veggies. This is our next step, is making sure that we have veggies. Why? Well, we've heard that fruit and vegetables should be the foundation of a healthy diet, but do we really know why? In short, they provide essential micronutrients, example, vitamins and minerals, antioxidants, and fiber needed for energy production, immune function, control of inflammation. That's the gut health part with healthy digestive system as well, making sure that we can actually process the food that we're eating. Overall health in general. What are some examples of fruit and vegetable portions? 1 to 2 handfuls of spinach and stir fry, mixed garden vegetables, chopped peppers, carrots, and hummus, bagged salad from the grocery store. You are seeing the word fruit and you're thinking, wait a second, didn't you tell me earlier fruit is a carb? Any vegetable that you may think is a vegetable, like tomato that is grown above ground, is technically a fruit. So tomato is considered a fruit, yet it does make up helpful fiber for the day. So just honestly, the bagged salad method is my favorite. I just grab salad bags that are pre-prepped from the grocery store. Carrots are another one of those things that also can equal carb as well, but we're not going to worry about that too much. It is technically a veggie. So adding that to your plate in a fist size or 2 fist sizes, if it's not cooked, would be at 3 meals per day, 15 grams of fiber. When you are tracking food, I've already told you this in the meal tracking video, we just don't track veggies. As long as you have them, don't worry about tracking every little thing. As long as you have them, you're getting 15 grams of fiber per day, and that's really important. If one meal doesn't have veggies, just bulk up on a different meal. Remainder of the plate with carbs. You need somewhere between 125 to 175 grams per day. Why is this step coming last? Carbs are not bad when portion control is implemented. However, it often comes as a surprise that 1 true serving size of rice, bread, or pasta, to see that it comes as a surprise. It's a lot smaller than one would think. That's why we recommend filling the plate up and adding the carb last. What are some good sources of carbohydrates? A great rule of thumb, you should always be able to prioritize whole grain or brown carbohydrate sources such as brown rice and pasta. Also, jasmine rice falls into that. Quinoa, bulgur wheat, oats, whole grain cereal, whole meal bread, legumes, lentils, potatoes, and sweet potatoes. And for a female portion, 1 cup, we're doing the measuring cup method again. 1 cup of cooked carbs in a measuring cup equals about 50 grams of carbs. Half a cup is 25 grams of carbs. 1 cup of berries is 25 grams of carbs. So you can see 1 cup of berries is half the amount of 1 cup of cooked carbs. So one meal could have berries and you could get 50 grams of carbs from 2 cups of berries, or at least just 25. And you're going to add that on last. You see how now we've got our protein, we've got our veggies, and we've got our carbs that we added into the meal here. Lastly, source of healthy fats, 55 to 80 grams a day. Why should I include fat? I thought it was bad. When we say healthy fats, we simply mean unsaturated fats versus saturated. Dietary fat is not only perfectly okay to consume, but it's essential. We need fatty acids for several crucial functions, including the absorption of vitamins, production of hormones, and cell protection. How do I apply this step? Raise your hand in front of your face again. Stick out your thumb. Depending on your size, try to incorporate 1 to 2 thumb sizes of fat into your meal. You can do cold pressed virgin olive oil. You would cook in that. Rapeseed oil. I think that's supposed to say grapeseed. Coconut, saturated fat, but still good. Small handfuls of nuts, seeds, avocado, salmon is not supposed to be right there. And avocado is not supposed to say that again. Ignore these last 2 things. You can also look at labels. If you're tracking macros, you don't have macro targets yet, but you're learning macros when you're tracking in the app. You're looking to aim eventually to 55 to 80 grams per day of healthy fats. So if you're tracking that and you go to a cashew container and you see the back of it, it says 1/4 cup of cashews is 12 grams of fat. I forget what it is. You'll take about 1/4 cup in a measuring cup, put it on your plate and say, all right, that's probably about 12 grams of fat. You're not weighing and measuring, you're eyeballing it using the measuring cup method or your thumb. That is the last page. Okay, I'm going to make myself big again. We're going to work on this over the next week. Now we are eating every 2 to 3 hours. We're building full plates, and now we're understanding what those full plates should look like. We're increasing our protein, increasing calories overall because protein's increasing. We'll work on fats and carbs in the coming days and weeks. Right now, we're working on this until the next video comes out. And stay tuned for that. Let's rock and roll.